I'm outside on my porch today. 'Cause it's a nice day. Might as well. The tree's pretty. I decided I was gonna start doing something like this. Not really a journal, like not really a video journal. Well, there's a car. There hasn't been a car in the street in a while. I wanted to do something like this because I have a lot of opinions about things like depression and anxiety and the things that I struggle with and I've seen people struggle with, for a long time. And I guess I want to talk about it, my 18th birthday is in like a week. And all I can think about is what I'm not doing. I'm stuck in bed because I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why my body just can't handle doing stuff sometimes. I don't know why my body reacts like it does. And I don't know, I don't know what's up. It's like I wanted to talk about this because I want to be one of those people that goes to schools and talks to the kids, I want to be one of those people, like an inspirational speaker, except I'm just speaking from my mind like I do here, and it happens to be inspirational, because it's like, I remember when I was still in high school, I dropped out now, but when I was still in there, we had a speaker. Now, this was before I even went to a mental hospital or whatever, and, got medication, like, that kind of thing. And I'm still really depressed. And he came and he spoke to us about, like, suicide, and depression, and all this stuff. But the one thing that sticks out, I don't really remember much. It's like his story was like his mom tried to commit suicide one day. And, like, the one thing I remember really distinctly was that he didn't talk about, like, himself. He talked about his mom and his mom's suicide and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not necessarily that I don't trust someone that doesn't talk about themselves. Like, trust doesn't come into it when you're speaking to, like, a group of kids once. But it's like, I think it would mean more to kids, I guess, if you were to open up about what you've experienced, If someone with actual depression and, like, suicide and stuff came to you and talked to you about it, And, because we've had speakers like that before. I remember, I think it was in middle school when we had a speaker. It was, like, an actual teenage girl who came and talked about her experience with suicide. And the only reason that wasn't even, like, a thing with me is because it was, like, a religious thing, And I don't think depression and stuff has to be religious when you talk to kids, because I think that you can appeal to them otherwise, like, because it's more about reaching everyone, like, reaching every kid. And I remember I felt really distant from that, I felt isolated from what she had to say, just because of that. And it's like, I don't think a kid needs to feel isolated anymore if they have depression and anxiety and all that stuff. I think kids need a lot of love and a lot of compassion and all that kind of cheesy junk. Well, especially if they're dealing with, like, mental illnesses. No matter what it is, I talk about depression and anxiety because it's personally what I am dealing with and have dealt with for a long time. But it's like, it's the little stuff, It's like, I genuinely know a lot of girls with bipolar depression, and it has to be played up as a joke for it to be accepted. But it shouldn't have to be. Like, bipolar shouldn't be a joke, People shouldn't be like, oh, you're so bipolar. It's like, because it's genuinely just, like, a thing, There's a chance that I could have bipolar depression. There's a chance my mom could, Because it's just life. It's just life, and it's just how it works, Ugh. I think kids just need a lot of encouragement, a lot more encouragement than they get, because you have a mental illness as a kid, And it's like, my entire group of friends had depression, like severe depression, suicidal thoughts, that kind of thing. And it's just, there was no help for them. There was no help outside of me, who was also a depressed teenager. But I put my all into trying to help them and try to keep them healthy and stuff like that. And it just feels like, everyone says that kids should reach out if they want help. And everyone talks about, like, oh, suicide is just a cry for help. Well, then help them. Help them. It's like kids should have to reach out to get help. Well, adults should learn to see the signs. It's like we had a school. Well, yeah. I have a school. And it's like the whole ordeal that happened with me going to school was that I kept trying to get notes from a doctor that would say, like, my depression and anxiety doesn't work, because I get I can't even explain it. School, it's almost like it scarred me, and every time I think about going back or even get close to it, it's like, oh, I start having a panic attack kind of thing. And I was trying to explain that to the head counselor of our school for months, absolute months. Every time she'd ask me, I was like, can't you do it? Can't you come to school? It's this disbelief. And I guess I was mad for myself a little bit, but I was also mad because it's like I knew how many other kids there were. Like, there were other counselors and stuff, but she's the main counselor, And I was just thinking about all the other kids that have to deal with her. That have to deal with the disbelief of depression and anxiety, and, it's crazy. Because I think teens and adults, kids, whatever, with depression and anxiety, bipolar, those sort of neurodivergencies, just kind of, they feel isolated. And while society's trying, it's not trying hard enough. Because you still have the people that are like, hey, you have depression, just go outside. Like, sorry, I don't think the sun's gonna cure that. And this has been kind of rambly, but it's like, I just think someone needs to speak for the kids and for the adults, the teens, everyone. Someone needs to stand up and scream, just scream. Because no one realizes how bad it is unless you have a breakdown. And it's like, that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have to have a breakdown for someone to respect you. It's like one time I was so stressed out that I think I screamed, cried, and then laid on the ground outside before school. And that was only one of the breakdowns I've had in school, by the way. And it's like, what happened was I was told to get off the ground, and that was it. Like, it seemed like the people around me were really concerned, but no one else was. And I think we're creating this culture of, like, whatever, they're struggling, but we should start understanding the signs. I just think, sorry, every time someone walks by, I'm like, I don't want to be talking to my phone. That's weird. But I just think we should start understanding the signs. Because it's one of the hardest things with depression is getting help. It's recognizing that you need it and then asking for it. Because it's like, I didn't even know that I didn't know what happiness was. when I took depression meds for the first time, antidepressant. It's like, I genuinely learned what being happy was, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize for years I've just been feeling not sad and not happy, because it's like my general neutral emotion was just not sad. And, and it's like, kids like that don't know about it. And I feel like we should talk about it more in schools, too, to learn stuff like that, like, maybe you're depressed, because I feel like if we spot it earlier, then it's definitely going to help. Because, like me, I started getting help when I was 16, and I'm almost 18 now, and I have medication that works. And the thing about it is, it's like you compare it to my mom, who was just struggling for so much of her life, couldn't go to college, dropped out of the army. It's like, we need to give kids the chance to live and be happy when they're young. It's like, depression isn't the reason that I'm not able to live as a young person. It's because I'm dealing with a lot of other illnesses, a lot of other issues, and stuff like that. And it's like, we should give kids the chance to live their life and be happy with it. And medications aren't going to work for the rest of their life, your body becomes immune, stuff like that. But we should give them the chance to live for like a year, at least a year, I don't know, I just think kids deserve a lot better nowadays, and adults, I talk about kids a lot, but that's because I see it in them a lot, adults have learned to cover things up, we're taught to suppress their emotions and stuff like that, and that is a whole other discussion. It's stupid, and all it does is lead to people being hurt a lot more, Because I was watching the Medea movies last night, and she said something, she was like, my mom always told me if I cover up the wound, if it'll heal. It's like, that's not, that's not how that works. I don't know. These are all just going to be weird thought pieces. Depression and anxiety and disability, autism. Yeah. Who knows? Anyways, this has been 11 minutes, and that's 11 minutes too long.